my dancers, I'm going to walk you through a nice full body stretch that you could do after you take a class, maybe after you do some of your strengthening or conditioning videos, or really any time of day. You do want to make sure that you are a little warmed up before this. We don't want to do this like first thing in the morning before we've done any other movement in our bodies. So just make sure you're also being safe. Make sure you have some space. Again, you can use a yoga mat if you would like, or if you're down on a hard surface, if that feels better for your knees. But we are going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start in a child's pose position. So my big toes are touching, my knees are apart, my forehead is going to come down to the ground, and my arms are going to reach out long in front of me. So we'll take just a few breaths in this position, breathing in through your nose and out of your mouth. We'll make our way up to a quadruped. So we have our wrists under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. Take a breath in, let your belly sink to the floor. Lift your chin and your tail. Breathe out, round your back, and push your palms down into the floor. Breathing in, looking up. Breathing out, rounding your back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round your back. And then we're back to a neutral spine. And I'm going to step 1 foot behind me, doesn't matter which one it is. And I'm going to rock in and out of my heel, just to open up my calf and the bottom of my foot. So just a little rock from head to heel. And then we'll switch, other foot. Thinking long from the top of your head back through your heel. And we come back to our quadruped position. Legs are going to squeeze in together. Tuck your toes under, and then sit your seat back on your heels. So we're going to stretch the bottoms of our feet. And then you might want to pull your pinky toes out just a little bit. And this one will get a little uncomfortable. Okay, so if it's too much, you take a little hinge forward. You can put your fingers on the floor. Let your chest come forward. Otherwise, we want to pull our shoulders back above our hips. Let's let our chin fall in towards our chest. Stretching the back of your neck into your upper back as well. And then lifting, chin away from chest. We'll come back to quadruped, separate the legs. You can take a little roll of those ankles, a little wiggle of your toes. And then from here, we're going to take one arm out. So I'm reaching my left arm behind me and then threading my left arm under my right. Coming down onto the side of my head, letting my tailbone stick up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to think about stacking my shoulders, one on top of the other. So we get a stretch into our upper back here, a little bit of rotation in the waistline as well. Big breath in, big breath out. Big breath in, big breath out. Push into your right hand, bring yourself back up so that you're square. We'll do the other side. Right arm reaches out, right arm threads under the left. So we twist, resting down on the side of the head. Let your tailbone stick up in the air and pull your left shoulder on top of your right shoulder. Big breath in, big breath out. Big breath in, big breath out. Push into your left hand, draw your right arm out, and then just give yourself a little shift from side to side through your hips, a little wag of your tail. You can add in the neck if you would like, just a little bit of movement. And then I'm going to bring myself onto my seat, crossing my legs in front of me, and I'm going to make fists right behind my hips. I'm going to push down into my fists, lift my hips, little squeeze of my seat, and then I want to think about pinching my shoulder blades together to open up my chest. Big breath in. Big breath out, lower down onto your seat. Let's try that again. Push into your fists, lift your hips, squeeze your scapulas together, squeeze your booty. Big breath in. Big breath out, come down. One more time, press up. Breathe in. Breathe out, coming down. Go ahead and give yourself a little shoulder roll front to back. Shoulder roll front to back. One more time, front to back. So now we're coming into what looks like a little bit of a Z-sit position. So my left shin is in the front, my right shin is in the back. I want my knee to be slightly behind my hip. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze my glute, try to press my hip forward, and then rock it back. So I squeeze and I push forward, and I rock back. Almost like I'm trying to wrap the front of my pelvis and the top of my thigh down onto the floor. So just little rocks, front and back. Squeeze your seat, press forward, and come back. Just a few more times. A little bit of a stretch in the front of the hip, or just finding some movement here first. One more. And then we'll switch to the other side. So now my right shin is in the front and my left shin is in the back. I'm going to wrap that knee behind my hip. Think about squeezing my seat and pushing my hip forward, and then letting my hip drop back. Push, press forward like you're wrapping your thigh down onto the floor. Doesn't have to be big. It'll be a small movement. Just waking everything up, finding a little bit of space in the front of the hip. One more time. And release on down. So from here, I'm going to work my way up to a kneeling position. My right foot is in front, my left knee is down, and we'll continue to stretch the front of the hip. So now, I want you to think about pushing your tailbone forward and over tucking your pelvis, right? So not tailbone back, but we're going to scoop our tailbone forward, pull our shoulders back, and get a stretch right in the front of our hip. So then from here, I'm going to drop my chin in towards my chest. If you don't like having your chin down, you can lift your chin back up. But keep squeezing your glutes in together, right? Pinch your cheeks in, wrap your tailbone forward, open the chest, drop the chin. Big breath in, big breath out, lift your chin, and then release that scoop forward in your pelvis. Just let your tailbone drop to the floor. Hands down on either side of your right foot. Tuck your left toes, extend that leg on back, and then give yourself a little rock. from the top of your head back through your heel. Then we're going to drop the knee down, thigh down, untuck the toes. We want to make sure our front foot, right, our front knee rather, is on top of our front ankle, okay? We don't want to be in this position. That puts a lot of pressure in the front of the knee. We want to make sure that we're stacked. So we can keep our hands on the floor if that feels good. We can walk our hands up to the top of our thigh, whatever feels best in our bodies. Big breath in, breath out. Big breath in, and big breath out. Hands come back down. So now from here, I'm going to pull that knee in just a little bit, straighten my front leg, and bring my chest up. I'm going to flex my right foot so my toes go up. Now, I want to think about sticking my tailbone out behind me. So my tailbone reaches behind me, and my back, my chest comes forward, right? So the more that I can think about sending my tailbone back, the greater the stretch I'll get in the back of this leg. And I'm feeling this like all the way from my heel right up through my hamstring. So I'm not very far forward if I'm really thinking about sending my tailbone long behind me. And then that right leg, if you would like, it can take a little turn in and a little turn out. So finding a little internal rotation and external rotation. Then I'm going to come back to center. See if I can walk my chest maybe a little further forward. Big breath in. Exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. This time I'm going to let my chest come all the way down. My back is probably going to round a little bit as my nose comes down towards my knee. And then I'm going to work through a little stretch and flex in my right foot. Chest up, put your right hand on the inside of your right leg, sweep that leg around, big toes to touch, knees apart, child's pose. Rolling up, take a shoulder roll, and we'll switch to the other side. So I'm going to flip myself around here. Now my left foot is in the front, right knee is down, and I'm going to over tuck my pelvis, right? So I'm going to scoot my tailbone forward, pull my belly in, squeeze my glutes, and watch that my shoulders aren't rounding forward, right? So scapula's in and down the back, chest open, but we continue to tuck the tail forward. If you did so on the other side, you can drop your chin towards your chest. Inhale, exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, lift your chin away from your chest. Release the squeeze in your seat, so let your tailbone just drop down towards the floor. Hands to either side of your left leg. Tuck your right toes under. Come back to that long lunge and give me a little rock from your head to your heel. Back to center. Soften your thigh. Untuck your toes. So we can keep our hands on the ground if that makes the most sense for our bodies, or we can take our hands up to the top of our thigh, right? I'm gonna make sure that I'm still lifting up through my abdominals as well, right? So I don't wanna feel like I'm sinking or dropping into my hip, right? I want to feel like I'm lifting that navel up, in, and back, shoulders down, chest wide, so there is still some support in my body, right? Inhale. Exhale, deep breath in, big breath out, hands back to the floor. So we can scooch that back knee in just a touch, come up, straighten that front leg. We're going to flex the foot, and now our tailbone goes back, and the front of our pelvis tips forward. chest makes its way down towards the top of the thigh, but not very far. We don't have to go far if we're thinking about sending our tailbone back. Little turn in and turn out of our left leg. So a little internal, external rotation. Back to center. Big breath in. As you exhale, you can round your back, let your chest come forward. And then we point, stretch, and flex, alternating between that point and flex in the left ankle. Thinking hips square, right? Like headlights forward. Bring your chest back up. Left hand to the inside of the left leg. Sweep it on around. Big toes to touch, knees apart, child's pose. Rolling up. Give yourself a little shoulder roll. So now I'm going to turn to face you here. We're going to find a little butterfly position. Bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side. So this next stretch is for the back of our waistline. It gets into our QL muscle. Bottoms of the feet to touch, knees out. So from here you're going to twist, right? And then take your nose towards your knee. Fingertips reach out on the diagonal. Making sure that you're still pressing down into that side of your seat as your fingers reach out in opposition. Big breath in. And as you exhale, sweep your hands forward. Take your head to your toes. Roll up, chin to chest. Take a shoulder roll to reset. Other side. So we rotate, we twist. Sits bones are still rooted into the floor. We take our nose forward towards our knee, reaching long through those fingertips, but still pressing down into the seat. Inhale. Exhale. Sweep your hands forward and roll up. We'll open those legs out to the side. You can flex or point your feet. I prefer flexed feet because it helps to remind me to keep my toes up, right? So that we're not rolling in, we're pressing back, and we want to be up on those sits bones as best as we can. So give yourself a little wiggle from side to side. You want to feel those bony projections down into the floor, right on the bottom of your seat. And then from here, we'll take a reach up and over ear to our knee. So get a nice opening through the side of the body. And then from here, I want you to rotate, drop your nose towards your knee, and watch that that other foot isn't rolling in, right? But we're still pressing back. Turn back to face the side, ear towards your knee. And then bring the body up. Other side, big reach up and over. Ear towards your knee. Thinking about pressing that opposite hip down into the floor. And then we rotate, nose to our knee. Come back, ear to knee. And bring the body upright. This time we'll reach through the center, right? So arms reaching out. We'll start with a flat back position. So we're still thinking long from the top of our head to our tailbone, toes up. And then from here, you can keep your back flat if it feels good, or you can round forward. Watching those toes again. Big breath in, big breath out. Another breath in. And as you breathe out, walk those hands back upright. So now I'm going to swing my feet in front of me, hands behind my hips. And I'm going to take my right ankle, it should be your right, but my left, and cross it over my thigh for a figure 4 stretch. So my knee is away from my shoulder. I'm pushing into my hands. And again, I want to be up on my seat. So we're not back here, but we're trying to press forward. Right? So these stretches will get into the outside part of the seat, right? Our outer hips. And maybe if you would like, you can give it a little rock from side to side. Just be careful, right? You want to make sure that we're never feeling any pain in our joints. Stretching can be a little uncomfortable, and that's okay. Yeah? But again, that's different than pain. We don't want to be feeling any pain, especially in our joints, like our knees. Take a big breath in and out. So from this figure 4, I'm going to stack shin on top of shin. And again, if this does not feel great on your body, you take that shin and you put it in front. So you have one in front, one in back, or one on top, one on bottom. Okay, and I'm going to flex my feet here as well. It's okay if there's a little bit of space. Don't worry too much about it. Big breath in again as you sit up tall. On your exhale, fold forward. Now we're just going to hang out here for a while, okay? So see if you can find stillness. Continue to breathe and close your eyes. Push your hands into the floor. Use your arms to walk your body upright. Shoulder roll to reset your chest. Other side. So feet back in front, hands behind you. Left ankle over right thigh. Push through your hands. Take your chest forward, knee away from your shoulder. Sit up nice and tall. You can take, again, that bit of a rock from side to side. If you did so on the first side, if you don't like it, you don't have to add it in. You can always come back to finding stillness in that stretch. One more rock, if that's what you're choosing to do, and then coming back to stillness. Think long through the top of your head. Inhale, exhale. So we stack shin on top of shin, right? Or shin in front of shin, okay? So again, it's whatever feels best, especially for your knees, so pay attention to what your body is telling you. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, fold forward as far as you can go, right? If you're about halfway, and this is as far as you can go, I want you to stay in that halfway position. You might find that with time, you can get a little bit further forward, a little bit deeper into your stretch. Press your hands into the floor. Walk your body on upright. Give yourself another shoulder roll. And then from here, we're going to come back to our quadruped position, okay? Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Give yourself a little wag of your tail from side to side. So I'm going to bring my chest back upright. I'll take my left foot in the front, flexing it similar to that hamstring stretch that we had before, okay? And then from here, one hand to each side of that left heel, and we'll slide that heel forward. So we're working into our split. If you need to stop halfway, stop halfway. You can go a little further, a little bit deeper, go as far as you can into that split. Pointed feet or flexed feet, or even just relaxed feet, that's fine too, okay? We'll take 2 big breaths. Inhale and exhale. Deep breath in, big breath out. See if you can take your nose towards your knee. And come up. If you would like, you can take a little cambrai back, open your chest, and come upright. So I'm going to push into my hands, draw my belly button in, try to pull back into that kneeling position, and we'll switch to the other side. So now I have my right foot forward, my left knee back. I'm going to extend that right leg out, scooch back just a little bit. One hand on each side of my right foot, and then I slide that heel forward. Again, as far as I can go, right? If this is my stopping point for today, then that's the position that I work on holding. Otherwise, we make our way as far down into those splits as we can. Again, you can put your feet, flex your feet, or just let them relax. That's okay too. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in again. Big breath out. Nose to your knee. And press up. Finding a little cambrai arch back, open your chest. And upright. Pushing into your hands, draw your belly button in, pull that knee forward. You're pulling that hip back. And then from here, I'm gonna come on out of that split position, just finding an easy kneeling position for a moment, taking a little shoulder roll front to back, and front to back. Again, one more shoulder roll, front to back. And then from here, we'll be making our way into a standing position. So from our standing position, we'll take a wide parallel stance, as wide as you would like to take it. Right? We'll inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, press down. One more time, inhale, reach, feeling that connection from your heels to your fingers. Press down, chin to chest, and we'll roll forward. Heavy head, heavy fingers. So from here, I'm going to reach for opposite elbows. Take a moment, maybe even adding a little swing from side to side. Coming back to center, we're going to draw a nice big circle. Okay, so I come up through the left, or to your right rather, center, up and over, and then all the way back down. So let's go the other way. This is your left. Opening the side, so you should feel a big stretch right through your rib cage. Other side, nose to knee, back to center. Take it to the right. Think about making that circle as full as you can. Down, nose to knee, and center to the left. Open that side body, up and over, nose to your knee, back to center. Release your hands to the floor. Heel toe your feet into parallel. Bend your knees, inhale. Exhale, press. Inhale, soften. Exhale, press. One more, inhale, soften your knees. Take a roll to the top. Drop your tailbone, stack those bones, chin to chest. Give yourself a nice big shoulder roll. And again, inhale, reach. Exhale, press down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to touch, all the way down to your heart center. Taking one more deep breath in, and a big breath out. And thank you so much for joining me, working on a little bit of stretching. Hopefully you'll have an opportunity to practice this video as often as you would like. You can also do it in pieces, so if there are parts of the video you want to work on, you can do that as well. So thank you, dancers.